Hi, Amanda. I'm so excited to have you join us today. Going to be
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I really, really appreciate your time. Before we get started, I'm just going to do a quick technical check that we are going live in the page as well. And we are, so we are all good. Now, Amanda, I first came to know you and your great work through the magic of Facebook and your Facebook group, The Spiritual Badass Boss Lady. And very soon after, I invested in your program called Creation Queen, which I know we're going to talk about a little bit later. But before that, I wanted to take a couple steps back because I know we have something in common here, that we both are very much tied to our spirituality. And we know that spirituality and money do, in fact, go hand in hand.
Right.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, first of all, was for those new business owners who are starting out and who don't really see the tie between spirituality and money, can you explain to them how important it is to, well, first of all, to make money in a spiritual business, but also some of the misconceptions that you hear a lot around spirituality and money?
Right. Emily, so it's, I'm going to make a really bold statement and I hope no one signs off.
Go ahead.
God and money can be synonymous with each other, just like love and God can be, because all money is a neutral resource that we can choose to use for good, right? So when I'm deeply connected to God and deeply connected to my spiritual work and I'm trying to get beautiful things into the world, I need to be financially supported so I can get more beautiful things into the world. So I can pay, like I have assistants and like a team, so I can pay my people, so I can invest in programs, so I can keep my website running, so that I can do anything I need to do to keep myself being my best self, so I continue to bring my best work to the table. So there's nothing wrong and nothing evil about making money, right? Good people do good shit with money. Bad people do bad shit with money. I've worked really hard to do a lot of really good shit with money, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And I love what you say there. And why do you think it is then that so many people get tricked up with money? Do they have like old money stories, or what's going on there?
I think a lot of different things. I think we're programmed crazy things as children. I think our societies tell us crazy things. I think we hear that money is the root of all evil. I think we hear that rich people are greedy or selfish or unkind, and we don't want to be greedy and selfish and unkind, right? So we create all these stories of who am I to have that, and who would ever pay me for that, and how could I ever be wealthy? Only this kind of person or that kind of person ends up being wealthy. And it's all lies, because earning is completely up to us. It's completely about what systems and structures we set into our business and what we're an energetic match for, what we're available to receive, what we believe we can have, and then ultimately what we call in to our lives.
And it's so funny you say that, because you're talking about people who have wealth and who have money. I remember when I took course Creation Queen last year, and there was an affirmation in there, I make money while I sleep. And I remember kind of calling bullshit on it at the time myself and being like, oh, that sounds really lovely, but I don't know that that's possible for me. That sounds something that's so out of reach. And then the other day, we talked about this, like I got a sale when I took a nap. And so it's so interesting how your affirmations, and that was one thing I wanted to ask you as well, affirmations can be a way that at first they seem sometimes fake and contrived, especially when you are struggling and you kind of say to yourself, well, no, I'm not saying that it's not my fault I can't afford it, like I genuinely can't afford it, but then you perpetuate more lack. And so these affirmations can actually start to become our reality. So what's your favorite money affirmation?
My work is of high service and worthy of massive compensations. I am giving my gifts to the world and I am compensated highly.
Oh, you've said those a few times, I can tell.
I ran around Dallas, Texas, broke as fuck, hanging my life coaching flyers at every Starbucks every day, and I said it over and over and over and over and over. And it's funny, in my Facebook memory thing that comes up every day, there was a screenshot of my phone at 11:11. I don't know, 3 years ago. I don't remember how 3 or 4 years ago, and it was that affirmation popping up on my screen, and I had like screenshotted it and put it on Facebook, and then it was popping up later, and it just reminded me, like, I really worked this shit. Like, okay, because I can sit here right now being like, hey, I live in this huge house, and like, look at these balconies off my bedroom, and like, look at my Louis Vuittons, and Like, I have a Cartier bracelet on, and it's like, it just seems like this is now my reality, but like, I have to go back and remember that I did all the things I teach people to do every day. And it was never about the clothes or the house or the anything. It was about the fact that I was going to create the kind of life I wanted. I was going to help massive numbers of people doing it. And I was going to have any experience I ever wanted, whether it was moving to Bali or buying a fucky bracelet. Like, I would be able to have anything I desired. Money would not be a reason that I said no to life.
That's amazing. And when you have those moments, I know, like for myself, I always like the waterworks start and I get really emotional. Do you ever get that kind of sensation of being so grateful that you're just like in tears?
I cry all the fucking time. Yeah. Like, I mean, especially, I guess it was last year. So 2015 was a year that like all my work kind of added up, and it started to like, I felt all of everything I had done like kind of adding up, and like a lot of momentum was happening really quickly. So I had many, many moments of going, holy fuck, I did it. Like, I did it. Now it's more like, yeah, I did it. So what are we doing next?
Right.
But it does. I do have moments where I stop and cry. Yeah, and you have to have moments where you stop and remember where you came from and the work you did and where it got you, for sure.
Yeah. So that's a good segue into what was a turning point in your business. One of my favorite parts of your story is when you were starting out, and I love the hanging up the flyers around Texas because it's so real and it's so you. It's just like, you're a get it done girl. You're my kind of people, you know. But after that, you then grown this really big life coaching practice where you had clients all the time, but you had this moment where you and I'll let you tell the story, but you ultimately realized you wanted to reach more people. You had this full practice, but you didn't have the freedom that you desired, and you wanted to reach more women. So tell us about that moment and what changed for you in your business as a result of that.
Yeah, so coaching is beautiful, and I'll never stop teaching a coaching model to people who want to coach, because when you go from, you know, you've been working hourly or you've been working corporate, you've been working whatever, and you can go like see a client, and for a certain number of sessions, you can make more money than like you've maybe ever made before. Like, it creates tremendous freedom. Even people who just start, you know, doing the $80 an hour, $100 an hour session thing, it's still usually more freedom than they've ever had. So it's so good when we start coaching, we go from single sessions to like packages, and the coaching thing's working. It's great. But then there just came this point where I was like, I can handle maybe 15 clients at once.
Yeah.
So I'm directly able to transform, like my Facebook messages and the things I do online, they definitely inspire people, but I'm able to be a part of a deep transformation for about like 15 people at a time. And that didn't feel good, you know, and I'm also feeling financially capped. I'm like, how am I ever going to get past this like $5,000 a month mark or whatever it was at the time? Like, I think it was like 4,500 was the most I'd ever made. I was like, how am I ever gonna get past this? And everyone's like, raise your prices, raise your prices, raise your prices. And there's nothing wrong with raising your coaching prices, but I didn't feel like I wanted to just create like a $10,000 coaching package, because that wasn't gonna help me help more people. You know what I mean? That wasn't the answer for me, right? And so I was sitting on a rooftop. I snuck into this hotel that I snuck into all the fucking time. And I was sitting on this rooftop at the pool, laying out, like, you know, I own the place or whatever. And
I don't mean to cut you off, but I actually didn't know the story that you snuck into the hotel. That's the piece I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I couldn't afford to stay there at the time. Anyway, okay, so I'm laying out and I'm like writing in my journal, like, there has to be a better way. Like, what is the better way? Like, I'm helping these people, but I'm burning out, but my online influence isn't really expanding. Like, we're not getting more followers very quickly. It felt very slow. And like, yeah, I could support myself, which had been the goal. The goal had been to get to like 3,000 a month and like 4,500 a month or whatever. So like, I had reached these awesome goals, but it was just like, and I think this is a beautiful point in any business. When you're sick, when you're just sick of it, when you're so mad at it, when you're like, this isn't working, what's next? Like, whether you feel that way about your corporate job or where you are in your business, like every time you get really frustrated, and there's a lot of opportunity for like creativity or whatever. There's a lot of opportunity for like the next step. So I'm laying on this pool and I'm like, what can it be? And I'm like, it can't be digital courses. Those have to be too hard to create. And it can't be that, and it can't be that. And I'm just like, but the digital course thing like kind of just kept staying with me. It didn't go away. So that night on that rooftop, because you know, it got dark and I stayed out there and I kept journaling and whatever. That night on that rooftop, I like decided I was gonna earn more money. I set some really big, audacious goals, right? I didn't know that the money was gonna come through digital courses. I just set my goals and I started working the manifestation thing that now is like a normal part of my life. I started learning how to manifest money. I believe that money can come in all kinds of miraculous ways. Like weird shit can happen and checks can show up in your mailbox, and that's like really, really good, and I believe that. But I've also experienced a lot of success because I create funnels for the universe to work with. I create ways for money to come to me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So when I set that goal, money did start coming in crazy ways and weird ways and ways I couldn't have expected. But at the same time, I felt myself being led to create something more consistent that could earn for me all the time, like forever. And so that's when I created my first digital course. And it did. I mean, I had no email list. I mean, I maybe had like 200 or 300 people on an email list. I didn't know how to use an email list. I had a very small social media following. I didn't do all the things that you're supposed to do before you launch a digital course. Like I didn't know how to run Facebook ads or like whatever. But I believed that I could get 15 people to sign up. I believed I can get 15 people to sign up and make $10,000. I believed that I could. I put my heart and soul in it. I shared online every day. I hired someone to teach me how to do the back end technical stuff, which I now understand. And I'm like not a tech guru, you know, I'm like a blonde girl. Like I understand the back. I can bust out a course so quick at this point because I understand. That's how I got 4 out in a year. I understand the tech side of courses. And so anyway, yeah, I created that course. I made $10,000. And I remember thinking like, my life will never be the same because this is now already recorded. The content's already done. People from anywhere around the world could sign up right now and get module 1 automatically automated. Like it's done. And that's what courses did for me for the next couple of years. I just kept the cart open all the time and I just traveled and did my thing. And sales just came in and became this, and I would make money while I slept and all those kinds of things would happen. And it eventually got too busy where I now have to like open the cart for the course and close the cart for the course because I can't keep up with all the emails that come in around courses. Like it's just insane. So that's the way I do it now. But even now, the money's coming in while I sleep. And like, you know, the payment plans for courses, people on payment plans, because I always have payment plan options. The payment plans come in every single day. So I make money every day without doing anything.
Yeah.
I can still coach, I can still whatever, but without doing anything, I make about $20,000 a month without doing anything.
But isn't that the magic thing though, when you've done the work, and you say without doing anything, but with full credit to you, you do share from your heart every day, you do all the work. It's this combination of yes, manifestation, but also really solid strategy as well. But isn't it really wild when you are, you know, sitting there or lying there on the couch or whatever, and a payment comes through and you're like, I literally am just lying on the couch right now and I just got a payment notification. Like it's the best feeling.
Yeah, no, it's the best thing ever. And like, so the payment plans for the courses I've already sold, I can calculate and I can go like, okay, this many payments are coming in this month from previous courses. But yes, I do remember, and now I have open cards and closed cards, but I do remember when random payments would come in from people I didn't expect, from people I didn't know that I had never talked to, who followed me online or stumbled upon my course or whatever, and they just bought it. Yeah, and I'm like on the beach. Yeah.
And isn't that always the way too? It's always the people you don't expect. The people you think are going to buy never do. And then the people that do buy, you're not even aware of those people in your circle. It's always someone that's been watching you and has kind of made that purchase decision that you're completely unaware of. And then they come into your life and they say, oh, I've been watching you for a year, and you have no idea.
Yes, all the time. Yeah, it's always super weird. It's less weird now because there's a lot more people following me, but for a long time I'd be like, you've been following me for how long? And you never
Yeah, I know. And you're like, oh, that's right, I'm on the internet. My life's on the internet, and I talk about my life on the internet every day, and people watch me. I should really watch my mouth.
I know. And it's so weird because, you know, our friend Amy interviewed me earlier today, and you're interviewing me now. And you're both telling me parts of stories that I forgot that I told. You know what I mean? You know, and there's people I follow who I could do that. I could be like, you know, when you were dating that guy in 2008, he wrote that Facebook post, it changed my life. like I can do that for people. It's just weird. I don't even know. It's weird when people tell me parts of my stories that I forgot that I told, you know?
Yeah. And the great thing is about not having to remember is like, you know, you're telling the truth and you're sharing from your heart, so you don't need to remember the details. It's not like, oh, what did I say? It's like, well, I know I told the truth. I don't just necessarily remember the details, right?
Yeah. It doesn't, no, totally. I just get online and tell the truth every day. And I think that's why, going back to courses, I think that's why my first course sold. I think that's why I sold 15 without a following, was because I just got online and talked about it every day. I was like, hey, I have this course and it teaches you how to do this. And it's right for you if you desire this. And I want to teach you how to create a life that equals this. If you're interested, here's the place where you sign up, or email me. And I was doing that 2 or 3 times a day, which is that's a lot when you're new to being online. It feels a little nerve-wracking, but I believed in my course and my course's ability to change lives more than I was afraid. And that's how it always happens when you make the next move, when you up level, like your desire just supersedes your fear for long enough for you to get online and share.
Absolutely. And that's the piece that a lot of people don't get. They always say things like, I hear things like, oh, you're so courageous, you're so brave. It's like, thank you, but I'm scared like most of the time. I just get so used to operating in that place of the fear is there, but it's not going to drive me. Like you say, my desire for it supersedes my fear of it, right?
1,000,000%. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not special. I might seem like I'm just so confident like now or whatever, but I mean, I remember freaking out over posting things and what different people were going to think about it, what was going to happen, and what is my ex-boyfriend's mom and my neighbor's uncle and that mean girl from high school, what are they going to think about this? Like, we all feel it. It just, those people don't matter. Those aren't the people that you're here to help. Like, you eventually just get used to some of your posts making people mad, and some of your posts getting crickets and no one replying, and like it stops. Okay, what happens on Facebook doesn't affect like who I am internally, right? So I just share what I have to share and know that I'm really awesome no matter what, you know?
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So I'm kind of conscious of your time here. I want to be respectful of that. We've been talking about courses. You have actually the course that I took, Course Creation Queen, which was such a game changer in my business. It was amazing. That is available now. So why don't you tell people about, and we'll have the links below as well of where people can find that, but why don't you tell people about what Course Creation Queen entails and what they can expect from taking the course?
Okay, and then I want you to tell me what your experience was like with it.
I would love to. I would love to.
Okay, so my intention was, if I can just take people through the process I keep using to create courses, and I show them how I'm doing it by screen sharing, like I'm showing them my computer screen and what I do, and I show them how I make the sales page, and I show them how I make the modules, and I show them how I automate everything and how I connect the payment button to the emails, the email list, and if I can just show them how I do all of that, then I know they can do it themselves because I'm doing it myself. So that was my intention. So the 6-week course is me showing you every step of how I get a course into the world, from when I have the idea to when I lay it out to when I make the modules to when I like launch it and put it into the world, how I share online, like the whole thing. And it's worked for a lot of people. A lot of people like, and I didn't know, that sounds so crazy. I believed in it, but I didn't know exactly how it was going to work. Like, for sure, I just felt like it was the only way I knew to teach it. And I had like the hunch that a blonde girl teaching it in a non-techy way would help other women, other blonde or not, other women who wanted to just understand how to do it themselves. Because there's something really powerful about not having to wait on anyone else to do it for you. And now you have all this knowledge. And the knowledge, I think you would agree, all the knowledge translates to all these other areas online. Like, it translates to doing your own opt-ins, to growing your email list, to like, how to like embed a video, how to like create a hyperlink, like all these little things that just a lot of people don't know how to do when they start out. So we do all those things in the course, and then it just translates to you being like a tech genius, like you just understanding the internet and your website in a different way, right? Like you have more power. So then this year, because not everyone learns like I learn and like maybe how you learn because it works so well for you, someone suggested, one of my assistants suggested that we make PDFs that have the steps typed out. So we're transcribing the whole course. And so if someone doesn't learn by watching, they can learn by reading, which is fine with me. And then we're creating workbooks because I like to learn as I go. So I'm creating a course as I'm coming up with the idea or whatever. But we're creating a workbook for anyone who wants to plan it all out first and then implement it. Like, we're just adding all these. It already is really good and it already works and hundreds of people have already loved it. But we're adding a lot of stuff to make it even better for various personalities and various styles of creation. And yeah, and it closes Thursday night at midnight.
Amazing. And like I said, we're going to have the links down below so everyone can find out about that, and they can also watch your free training, the 6-figure launch project, which is really good.
So good. Yeah. Okay. So I went from 15 people signing up and making $10,000 on my first one to my past 2 launches each generated over $100,000. So then I created the 6-figure launch project. It's super good. I give a lot of really good free tips.
Yeah, and what I love about you whenever you share as well, it's always so from the heart and so genuine. It never sounds kind of salesy or pushy or anything like that. It's just here's what it is. If you want it, here's the details. And if you don't, then I hope you enjoyed the content. And that's really what the training is. It's so beautiful and so authentic, and I just love it.
Right, because I hate that kind of selling. I refuse to sell that way. I don't know of other people that have a course like this, but I'm sure there are people who have courses on courses. And I'm sure some of those are really, really good. So what I always just say is if you like me and you like my energy and you want to be in the kind of container I create, which is a you can do it, I believe in you, you can get your shit into the world kind of container. If you want to learn from a person like that, I'm probably your girl. Here's where to sign up. It's only open once a year and it's closing on Thursday at midnight, and this is your opportunity. And if you don't, I'm not mad at anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly. And what I really took from the course as well was, it's so funny how you said, I want to be like the blonde girl teaching tech. It's so funny. I'm not natural blonde, by the way, but I'm blonde as of Saturday. But yeah, I'm totally not techie either. And so when I took the course, it was I could see your screen being shared, and I was like, okay, that's how I do it. And I still use it today. I've got the recordings a year later, and I still use it now when I'm trying to I can ask my assistant to do it. But if my assistant, because she's out east, if she's asleep or whatever, or it's I'm working crazy hours and it's a Saturday night at 11 p.m. So I've just watched the Tony Robbins documentary on Netflix and I'm fired up like I was on Saturday. I want to be able to get in there and link my PayPal to my Aweber. And I can't remember how to do it, but I know it was in week 3 of Course Creation Queen. So I go back to it now and I'm I just need that reminder and that walkthrough. And it's just so good to still have that information today.
Good, I'm so glad. So is that how, I'm always interested to hear how people used it. So did you watch module by module and follow along and create as you were watching?
Yeah, so what I did is I kind of binged it all first, because I had this idea for a course which eventually became Get Huffed, which is about getting published in the Huffington Post and major online outlets. And there's nothing like that out there. And I had this idea, but I didn't know how to do it. So I totally binge watched the whole thing, and then I kind of let it percolate. And I was like, okay, so what does my course look like? And it was so funny that you were talking about having an intuitive hit about I know this, I believe in it, but I don't know what the modules look like yet. I was very much in that place.
Yeah.
And so then when I was actually creating it, then I went through it bit by bit with the pieces that I need, everything that hadn't settled. I kind of went back and I'm like, okay, so how do I do this bit again? How do I link up the buttons to PayPal and Aweber, and how do I put the code around the buttons so it's not that PayPal link that says pay now? How do I get it to look like my thing? And how do I do this?
Can I interrupt you? I don't let you guys create cheesy shit. I show you how to make it look professional. Just because you're new at creating courses doesn't mean I'm gonna let you have a tacky PayPal button.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you always say you've got to make people, you've got to make it easy for people to pay you, but you also want to do it in a way that makes you feel good. And it's not that tacky PayPal button. It's actually something that's on brand. It's either for me, the hot pink or the bright orange, or whatever's on brand for me. Yeah. And I can do that, and it all works. Someone clicks that, goes to PayPal, and it gets sent to them, and it's all done and dusted. And I don't have to get involved in that unless there's any issues. So it's just such an amazing course, and I know this is gonna help so many women. And this is the thing, one kind of closing thought is it doesn't have to take a long time.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. Things can change so quickly, and Course Creation Queen is one way that people can really up-level their business and really massively change and increase their income in a very short period of time. And just being in your energy, Amanda, and having your your thoughts on money and your wisdom and your spirituality. It's such a beautiful fusion. It's not just the tech side, it's your whole energy. And that, like you say, that kind of can-do-it attitude. Like yourself, I'm from a small town too. There's nothing special about me. And like, I can do it if you can do it, like other people can. I am not techy. I was the girl, like, as the assistant in the office where something went wrong with the printer. And I'm like, guys, I'm gonna have to call someone. It's like, I don't even know. So if I can do it, like anyone else can. And this course is just amazing.
Thank you. That was my goal. My goal is to make it super simple and make anyone be able to do it. And yeah, like even when I'm teaching like pure just tech stuff, I'm me. So we're not going to not talk about money. We're not going to not talk about believing deeply in your work. We're going to talk about it the whole time. Yeah. And
it's so easy to understand. It's like non-techy. It's not, it's not techie language. It's just everyday, every person stuff. It's like, here's how it's done. Here's my screen. I'm going to walk you through it. And it's just,
right, because I don't know what the type words are. I'm like, you see this button, click it and drag it to right here. Like,
it literally is though. Like you literally walk through it and you can see your screen and you're like, click this, drag this, put this here. And I love the kind of like the names you came up with on the spot with the with last year's course. I won't say what it is, but you know what the course was.
Yeah, I forgot that I did that. So my idea was to create a pretend course to show. I forgot all about this, to show you guys what steps I would follow. So did I call it Love Life More Bitches?
It was something like that, yeah. And then you created a list in a webinar, and it was just called Bitches, and you're like, my sister's gonna think I'm crazy.
All right, and then I show you guys how to create like the pretty header for the sales page, and I'm like testing it. Yeah. That is what we did. So it's fun. Is it a fair assessment that it's fun?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a lot of fun. So yeah, like I said, we're going to have the links down below so people can find the information. The cart, remind us again when the cart closes.
So it's Thursday night at 11:59 Eastern time. So that would be 11, 10, 9, 8. Would that be 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Pacific? And that would be, where the fuck are you? You're in Canada.
I'm in Vancouver. I'm the British girl in Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah. So what time zone are you in?
I'm in Pacific time zone. So right now it's 11:25.
Got it. Yeah, so it'd be like 9 p.m. your time, midnight time, New Yorkers, and it would be Friday morning at like, what, noon for Australians?
Yeah, and it would be like 5 a.m. London on like Friday.
5 a.m. London, so Londoners need to do it before they go to bed. Yeah.
I've got a lot of British people in my audience, so I'll make sure I like kind of spread the word before they all go to sleep.
Yeah, let them know what their cutoff time is. Yeah, and I do that. I mean, like I said earlier, because it was just a lot of work to have 4 courses open all the time. But also, I really liked with my past 2 courses that had an open and closed date for people to get in. I liked the community we created. The container was so much better when everyone was going through it together and supporting each other and asking each other questions and whatnot. Like, I think it feels like a cohort to me. I really like the cohort vibe. And then I can show up every day and answer everyone's questions. You know what I mean? And like be more potently available in the beginning when everyone's like really working through it. Yeah. But you have all content forever. So if you're not going to start on your course till November, it doesn't really matter. Like, go ahead and get the content, be in the group, and you'll have it forever. And you get all updates for life. Like, people who took it last year and the year before when it was called A Course About Courses, they're getting all these Course Creation Queen updates. Like, I don't resell anything to you. Once you're in one of my courses, you're in one of my courses forever. Yeah.
So the thing is, like, get in now, because then when you get the updates next year, like, they're going to come through, but like, get in now. Like, I hear people all the time say, I don't know if I'm ready. And I'm like, just do it. You're never ready. Just get it done, right?
You're never ready. I mean, I don't know how to explain how non-ready I was to do a course. I just was not, but it was the thing I wanted to do. Like, and it's not that courses are the answer. It's that courses were the answer for me. Like, courses were the answer for you. Courses were, because wasn't that your first 5-figure month was because you did a course?
It was, yeah.
That's how I felt too. It was like I desired more money. I needed to help more people, and courses were the thing I was led to. If it sounds fun to you, like, even if you're scared, like, you're obviously scared, but if it sounds fun to you and it's a thing you would like to have, you would really like to have a course. And I really think that's like all you need. Like, what else? Like, what other divine guidance do you need other than your desire for it, right? And the opportunity showing up.
Yeah. Amazing. So before we sign off today, how else can people find you? Where can they find you on the internet?
I am at XO Amanda Frances on all of the social medias. Frances is Frances. And if you guys have any questions about anything, email assistant@amandafrances.com or tag me on Facebook or comment on an Instagram picture. Like, I'm all over the place.
Amazing. Well, Amanda, it's been such a joy and a privilege to speak to you. This course really does change people's lives, and I know it's going to help so many people. So thank you so much for sharing your messages.
Of course. Thank you, love.
Speak to you soon.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.